So, you've agreed to be someone's mentor. Now what? Well, the fact is, you already know 90% of how to mentor someone. But in this video, I'll help you fill in some of the missing pieces and answer some of the questions you might have. I'm often asked for advice about how to mentor someone, how to get started. So I'm taking a break from my usual video content so that I can share some of my experience and some suggestions about how you can start as a mentor so you can have the kind of impact that you want. I have some questions to help you get started and some activities, we sometimes talk about them as tools, that might be useful as you begin interacting with someone. And most of all, I want to encourage you that if someone has asked you to mentor, you are exactly where you should be. They see something in you, and you have an opportunity to pass on the hard-won lessons you've learned along the way. You know what? You really can't do it wrong. So let's just pause for a moment, and before we get into the details, and I promise that's coming soon, let's just step back, and I sometimes talk about it as going up into the balcony to look at the bigger picture. If we were to do that and see the person who's coming to you for mentoring, they want a mentor to improve or grow in some way. There's some specific challenge or problem confronting them. They may want just one or two conversations about something or an ongoing relationship to talk about their career and life direction, how they develop as a leader. Often it's going to be some relationship challenge with their boss, coworkers, or maybe their spouse. People often ask for a mentor to help them work through a specific project or task or life situation. Anything from how do I lead strong in a meeting or how do I stay sane raising my kids. But whatever the topic is, whatever the reason that they're coming is, they want to get clear. They want to find a direction to move forward, to get beyond where they are now. Some of the common fears or concerns that I see is, well, someone's in a situation where they can't have or aren't experiencing what they want. They're in a bad relationship. They're having financial trouble. They're not getting the respect they think they need at work. And they begin to wonder and worry about that there's something wrong with them. They're worried about being rejected. So, as a mentor, they are looking to you to help them through those concerns. When someone comes to you and is looking for a mentor, I think, well, let's call it a she. She's looking for three things. She wants attention. She wants to be listened to, seen for who she is as someone who's worthy of respect and to be invested in. And she's also looking for your generosity, that you're investing your time and your attention. You have done or do something, or you have something that she wants, something that she wants to be able to do or learn or have. And so when you're willing to share your experience of how you got that, then you're demonstrating the generosity of sharing your life experience with her. And she also wants encouragement. I don't think we can ever get too much encouragement if it's sincere. You see, your feedback will matter. She wouldn't be coming to you if she doesn't respect you. So when you show support, when she stumbles or makes mistakes or is struggling, and when you celebrate victory, she knows that you care about her and that you're encouraging her. You're holding out the hope that even though she's afraid or feeling defeated or maybe discouraged, that she's worthwhile and what she's hoping for is possible. Now, when we start out with mentoring, the starting point's a little bit like, well, I think like online dating. I met my husband through online dating. You know, the person that comes to you for mentoring is attracted to who you are. Like I said, what you have or what you've accomplished. They want that too. You look good to them. But no matter how well you know someone, this new relationship can feel awkward and kind of fuzzy. It can be hard to find the focus where you're both like feeling your way on how to get started. So even if you know her pretty well, start out with a pretty typical question. So tell me about yourself. Pretend we don't even know one another. What do you want me to know about you? And then take the time to listen. Get really curious. Ask questions like, what else? What was that like? Tell me more. Spend time to really hear her heart, to really understand what's going through her mind. It might sound like a jumbled mess, and if it does, it's probably what it sounds like in her mind. Still, give her the respect to hear that and help her sort it through. And then, at the right time, you can ask, how are you hoping I can help you? Or, what kind of support are you looking for from me? She may not be able to articulate or explain that, but give her a chance to tell you in the best way that she can what's on her mind. And then, of course, a lot of what a mentor does is listen and listen and listen for more. Listen for what's said. Listen for what isn't said. Listen for the emotions beneath what's being said. Ask her questions when she's telling you about a situation, a problem, a concern she has. Ask her something like, what's important about that to you? Or, well, if you had that, what would that look like? How would that change things? How would that make your life better? Do you notice that these are open-ended questions? You're not giving her any advice at this point or any input. An important value of a mentor is helping the other person think things through. And here's something. Do not accept a response, I don't know. Oftentimes when I start off mentoring someone and they're telling me about what they want or a challenge they have, they'll throw out, well, I don't know. I just don't know I don't know what to do. Well, I don't accept that answer. It's sloppy, frankly, and it's lazy. So I'll ask them something like, well, if you did know, what would it be? Or I'll just wait. Another way I'll handle it is I'll say, okay, you may not know what you want. Tell me what you don't want. And a lot of things will flow from there. Then you can ask, well, if you didn't have that, what would you have? It'll make a huge difference. Now, this is where you can make an impact, and it sets the stage for future talks. So just be patient, be silent, and just see what evolves. So, let's say that you have decided to start working together. Let me tell you about some activities, tools, exercises, I call them different things, that can help you get started. I sometimes assign these as homework. On my website, I have an activity called My Lifeline, and you're welcome to download it. It's a way for someone to really look over their life and look at what were the common themes in my life, the successes and failures, the good decisions and the bad decisions, the impact of people in my life. If someone's looking for a starting point, or particularly if they're looking to start over, the Lifeline exercise can be really valuable to them. But there's a simple version of that you can do anytime. All you have to do is draw a horizontal line on a piece of paper. Or better yet, ask them to just draw a horizontal line. On the left side, ask them to put their date of birth. And then somewhere on that line, put a mark for what's today's date. And on that mark, you can ask them, so where are you now? This is a place where they might look at you, what do you mean? It could be, so where are you now in that relationship? Where are you now in your career? Where are you now with your self-care? It's a way of helping them orient and look at time and how things change over time. You can ask them to look back from this point in time backwards to their date of birth. And so what have you learned about relationships or self-care or leadership? And importantly, this is a tool you can use to help them look ahead to the right of today's date and ask them the question, so where do you want to be? In 1 year, what kind of leader do you want to be? In 3 years, what will your relationships look like? This timeline you can use over and over as a way to help the other person focus on where they are now, where they've come from, and where they want to go. And then you can begin to ask questions about what do they need to close the gap from where they are now to where they want to be. You see, at this point, the mentor isn't offering any advice or any suggestions. They're there to help the other person, their mentee, organize their thoughts, think out loud, and just to get clear. Life is so fast, it's so complicated. Just the mentor asking some of those simple questions makes a huge difference. Now, there's another tool on my website called the 5 Paths to a Good Life. As I've reflected about my life, I've identified 5 paths that I'm on at any given point in time, pointing me towards a good life. There's a self-assessment, free, that the person can download, and then the two of you can talk about it. And I'll have more information about how you can use assessments, and that assessment in particular, in your mentoring. But for now, just know that and other tools are available on the My Mentor Jane website, and you're welcome to use them. They're all free. Now, sometimes someone will come to you with a specific problem or challenge or issue. And so, you know how to do this. You ask them to describe it, what's challenging, what's difficult about it. And usually they'll end up in negativity, in complaining and the problems, and often blaming and deflecting on other people. So when they finish doing that, the important question is this. You simply ask them, so what do you want? That blows people away. They're focused on what they don't want, the problems that are happening, who's doing what to who. But when a mentor asks them to shift focus from what they don't want to what they do want, that's where change really begins. Oftentimes they'll say they don't know what they want. And so you can ask them, well, if you don't have all the crap you're going through right now, what would it look like? And in the moment, if they really don't know, that's okay. You can give them some homework and ask them. So think about, what do you want instead? And the second question, how badly do you want it? What are you willing to sacrifice? What choices are you willing to make? Other questions you can ask are, so what have you tried in the past to make changes? What results has that produced? What have you learned from what you've tried so far? Then I can also use that step out into the balcony and say, so let's step out into the balcony together. As you watch yourself trying to deal with this problem that's been happening or this challenge that you have, what do you notice? What are you curious about? What do you think would be a next step? These are just some examples of questions you can ask to help stimulate the thinking and simply step back, listen, and breathe. And at that point, you could ask, would you like my feedback? Chances are they're going to say yes. That's part of why they want you as a mentor. But I always try to get their thinking first to really help them understand the thought process that we go through to solve difficult problems and overcome big challenges. That makes our mentoring last well beyond the time that we have together, because we're developing her as well as helping her with a specific situation. Now, as I move forward on how to mentor someone, there's a couple things that I want to help you keep in mind for your own peace of mind, as well as for the progress of the person you're mentoring. First of all, she's in the process of her life. As her mentor, I need to meet her where she is now. Of course she doesn't know what I know. Of course she doesn't have the common sense or the benefit of the experience that we've had. That's why she's here. But we can still believe in her dreams and her potential. But they are her dreams to realize. It's her potential to achieve, and they're her problems to solve. I've been burnt in the past in having expectations about how much someone will follow up, how carefully they'll take my advice, how quickly they'll learn something. And what I've had to learn is to let go of my expectations. The person I'm mentoring's behavior and their response is not a reflection on you. We can't compare our life to her life. The goal isn't to make her like you, to think or act or be like you. And you're not reliving or trying to recreate a better version of yourself through her. You're her mentor and her advisor. You're not her sister, her mother, her friend, or her boss. I learned some tough lessons on this one. In my own mind, I guess I made the relationship into more of a friendship than the other person intended it to be. When someone asks you or invites you into her life, there are boundaries that should be respected, and you're both deserving of respect and consideration. So that means that you're worthy of respect too. So don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. And if someone is not showing up, if they're not doing what they promised to do, then it is probably the best step you can take as a mentor to say something like this. I've noticed that we've been meeting for several months now, and I'm not seeing you following up with the things that you've committed to do. It makes me wonder whether we should continue in this relationship, whether it's of value to you. What are your thoughts? Or, I noticed that you've canceled several of our mentor meetings. What's that about? And when you notice that the person you're mentoring is off base or headed for problems, about to make a mistake that you're really concerned about, all you can do is warn and advise her and then let it go. It's not your life. She's going to learn through her own mistakes. You can be there to support her and encourage her when she does. Some of the most important impacts that you can make on the person you're mentoring is to offer her encouragement, to reassure her that she's not flawed, she's learning and she's growing, and that her mistakes, which she will make, can always be recovered from. Look for opportunities to amplify her victories and her growth. I'm not talking about giving her false encouragement, but there is very little encouragement that happens in the world. So give her what she's craving the most when you see it. Acknowledgement of the risks that she takes, the courage that she exhibits, and the successes that she has. She wants to know that it's going to be okay, that she's okay, and that she's on a good path. Now, here's some things to put your mind at ease as the mentor. A person doesn't come to you unless they see something in you, and it's not perfection. It's a quality, a skill or a habit, a way of being that the other person admires, needs, or wants. You have something that she wants, or you're somewhere where she wants to be. You have position, power, success, attention, influence. She admires and trusts you enough to spend time and take a risk, reach out. So enjoy the moment. You don't have to be anyone other than who you are. And you're not responsible for anyone other than yourself. If you're honest, clear, non-judgmental, and non-controlling, and you respect confidentiality, and you do what and when you say you will, that's all that you can do. And that's a lot. You know, mentoring is as old as time. And the mentor that I look to for direction with everyone that I mentor and through my YouTube videos is Jesus. Jesus was the greatest mentor. He faced unbelievable, the most difficult pressures and conflicts and challenges in his work, in his personal life, and all of his relationships. And the people that he gathered around him, he equipped and he encouraged, he listened to, and he also held accountable. He warned them about problems and obstacles. But most of all, he was present. He cared about them, and he gave them his time. He was a sounding board, and he encouraged them. Especially if you're coming to mentor with someone who has a faith and you share that faith. It can be an opportunity to ask them, what is your faith? How does your faith play into this? And it might be an opportunity to support their spiritual development. So if you really want to know how to mentor, I recommend you look at the life of Jesus and you'll learn everything that you need to know. So, how to mentor? This is the first in a series of videos that I'll be offering to help you as you grow as a mentor. I hope you'll feel free to use any of the resources on my website if that helps you in your relationship, and feel free to comment or be in touch with me with content that you would like to see. And join me next time when I share a live mentoring session. If this video has been helpful and you'd like to see more, then please subscribe to my channel and share it with anyone that you think would find it valuable. Thank you for watching, and congratulations for accepting the honor of being someone's mentor.